about the latest on this. We are waiting for a press conference here. The local police are going to come out. It's been a little bit jumbled about which agencies. You have to remember there are a lot of federal, state, and local agencies involved in this investigation. So when they hold the presser, we will bring you that information. But we also have eyewitness accounts and stories of survival and loss that are emerging from what happened in the club just over our shoulder. Right now, let's bring in some people with experience they wish they'd never had. We have eyewitness David Ward, and we have Chris Enzo, whose friend was shot inside the club last night. Gentlemen, thank you for being with us. I'm sorry it's under these circumstances. Let's start with what's most daunting. How's your friend this morning?
Well, right now he is awfully sleeping and getting ready to he should have been fasting now to be ready for the surgery this morning to get the bullet fragments out of his body.
What can you tell us about who he is and what happened to him?
Rodney is a bartender over at Pulse, and what happened, as he describes in his own words when I went to visit him, is that the assailant once entered the club, he was bartending, and in front of him was a girl that he was bartending for. And when the shooter started opening fire, many people were shot before the girl in front of him was actually killed in front of him as he was turning around to grab alcohol to continue to bartend. And he, in that process, got shot 3 times, 2 in the shoulder and 1 in the elbow. And the force of the shot caused him to fall onto the ground. And in that time period, he said he heard very, very, very consistent gun shooting that would not stop. So there he was able to deduce that it was a semi-automatic weapon. And he basically was confronted with the choice of whether or not he was going to run or stay and become a hostage. Luckily, he got to run out before the hostage situation even took place.
We are hearing one of the things, Dave, that makes this so terrible is that this man not only had the right equipment, but he had a lot of time, and it seemed as though he had some expertise. People keep saying that the fire patterns and the way this man moved around was to maximize taking as much life as possible. Tell us how your night changed. We get about 2 o'clock in the morning, and then everything goes horribly wrong.
Yeah, I was asleep at the time. I've got a condo that's directly across the street from there. I heard originally 2 shots that I thought were backfires. There's always a lot of commotion and things going on. There's a lot just on the other side that is overflow parking for valet. So I stepped outside and I did see a few people running out. I went into the street, and about that time is when I heard the other volley of fire.
What do you think it was?
It was clearly, semi-automatic rifle. I fire gun, so I mean, it was very clear that that's what it was. At that point in time, more people came out. They were just flooding the street, going through my yard. I did notice a number of them, realizing that some of their friends weren't with them at the time, actually turned back around, headed back towards the club, shouting their names. I went back inside at that point just to make sure my daughters were secure. They were with me at the time, and then basically from my balcony, the staging area just below in that same lot is where SWAT was, and they were kind of doing some triage.
We keep hearing it was so long, it took so long. What did that mean to you? What did you make sense of in terms of duration?
Well, I mean, I saw law enforcement really come onto the scene fairly quickly. I know that they always have an officer stationed there each night. Over the course of the next couple hours prior to the detonation, it was just a lot from the balcony, a lot of talk, tactical talk, things like that on the side. They had police going car to car in that lot, searching it. A few they actually had at gunpoint down on the ground. It seemed like they were trying to assess whether they were a threat or injured. If you were injured, I did notice they were bringing victims in kind of makeshift either tarps or cloths or something from the backside of the club, just literally pulling them across the street to the other lot and loading them up on the pickup trucks.
Now, obviously, our sensitivity goes to the people who were inside there, those who lost their lives and those who are still struggling for them, like your friend. But to be exposed to this is not easy. How are you making sense of what happened right across the street from your house?
It's bizarre. I mean, I've been up, I slept maybe 3 hours in the last 30, so I don't think it's completely registered. I'm a little bit more concerned about my daughters. They're on the young side, and we'll see how they, over the next couple of weeks, kind of handle this. But they did pretty well. The detonation shook the building, and that was probably worse for them than the gunfire.
The idea that here we are in June, it's actually Gay Awareness Month. There's no question whether it's ISIS directed, ISIS sympathizers, self-radicalized, all that will be taken care of. This man wanted to murder gay people, and he came here to do it and found a big concentration of them. What does that mean to you?
The fact that 103 people were shot, and right here in the heart of Orlando, it's going to affect every last single one of the members that live in Orlando. All of us will know someone who were hurt by this, and all of us will continue to go on with life knowing that we were all affected by the worst tragic incident in American history.
9/11, this is the biggest loss of life that is in any way related to terror and murder since then. It's the biggest gun violence death total that we've ever had, but the numbers are often confusing. What is penetrating right now is the knowledge that this is the first time we saw a select group of people. 9/11 was really all of us. Anybody who could be killed, gay, straight, white, black, Christian, Muslim, were killed. The targeting, Dave, looking for gays, killing 150 of them, trying to kill hundreds of them. How many Latinos, obviously this area, so many Puerto Ricans here. What does that mean to you?
Well, it's disturbing. I mean, I have balconies on both sides of my condo, and I'll sit on the back one, and a lot of times they'll park on the other side, and they'll flow through. And they're talking, they're on their phones, and I've gotten used to it, and then they'll walk into the club. And I think the thing that dawned on me kind of late last night was, how many of those people that were walking past me or below me that went in maybe didn't come out. And so that's a little sobering.
What are you telling yourself? Your friend, hopefully, he'll be okay. But so many won't. What does something like this tell you?
It tells us that, for me, I really think that as a city, we need to band together and be stronger than we were before, because right now I'm getting text messages from people saying that they're scared to go to work today. They don't want to leave their house today. They're literally scared to even think about going out and attempting to do nightlife. And I just want everyone to know that if everyone is out here, we shouldn't have a reason to fear terrorism anymore.
The point of terror, to the extent that that's what this is, again, a lot of it's unclear. Certainly, a hate crime, often that can be both things, right? I mean, it could be murder, it could be terror, and a hate crime all in one. But the point of it is to make you scared, to make a statement, and make people unstable.
Right.
How do you feel the need to respond to that as somebody who's right across the street from you, who lives here?
I think it's, as everybody always says after something like this, life goes on, you've got to go, you mourn. But, we're America, and we move on. We go about our lives, and I think that's the key thing, is not to shut down over it. Cope with it, find the help, and then move on with your lives.
Dave, I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad your daughters are okay. I hope your friend winds up being well. As we know right now, there's so many still searching for people they believe were inside last night. They don't know if they're dead. They don't know if they're in a local hospital. So at least you know where he is, and he's on the road to recovery. Hopefully the surgeries go well. Let us know so we can get his story out. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Now, obviously, there's a lot of unanswered questions here. We keep giving lots of various forms of motivation because law enforcement doesn't know yet whether or not there were direct connections or not. Was this about another lone wolf? Was this just about murdering a group of people? There will be a press conference. And when it happens, no matter which agencies are there,